I was like, oh God. I was just imagining like how awkward and like horrible it would be to have to do that as an actor, you know?
I thought Negan was going to come along and discipline that guy, but that would have been a bit, I don't know, predictable or something.
Would Negan care? I mean, we'll have to wait and find out what his attitude towards, certain things
Right.
is.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
One thing I just wanted to mention briefly is I think it's interesting that this whole storyline comes along right now with the whole election going on. And I think it was a really nasty election. And people, for one thing, don't worry, I'm not about to get political, but people just want to get
Yeah.
past it. And so I think there's probably less of an appetite for this storyline right now because of that among some people, and because it's brought up a lot of negativity, and also just people being, for some people, forced to accept a result that they didn't want, which I know people have felt that same way about other elections. So it's
Oh
just
yeah.
in any election, the people who lose are going to feel like, oh man, this is not fair. And now we've got this whole thing with Negan. So
This election in particular has seemed to
yeah,
hit a lot of people really hard.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. I don't. It's not making me find the story unappealing. I don't know why. I'm just like, no, dude. I guess because partly I've just been waiting for this story, and I like to see how dark the show can get. I like it, that the show's always been dark. This is probably the darkest, but it's always been that way. And like I said, it's going to make it all the sweeter if and when Negan gets what's coming to him. So I'm just separating the two. It doesn't. The election does not affect this for me, but I understand that it might for some of you guys, and I'm not sure what to do about that, but I just wanted to acknowledge it.
I think the best thing we can do for it is just to stay non-political and
Yeah.
give people like a reprieve from the whole situation.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. But I will say, if you guys want to hear Karen and I, if you want to ask us anything about what we think about any of that stuff, we're open to answering it in our Patreon. We have our monthly call-in show. We did one last month. It was pretty awesome. And so if you contribute any amount, you'll be invited to come to that. And then you can ask us whatever you want. But I think most people probably just want us to be a place where you don't need to think about that stuff for a while, because it's everywhere else. And I'm totally fine with that. Okay, and the last thing is, one reason why I think Glenn and Abraham's deaths have hit the non-comic readers harder, at least that's my impression. It seems like it's hit, they're like, holy cow, that was too much, is because other storylines in the comic and events have been softened in the show. There's at least
Oh,
a couple of scenes I can think of that were more brutal than what we saw with Abraham and Glenn, right? I don't want to say what they are, but some shit happened in the comic that was even worse. I still found it pretty, it affected me a lot, but I think if you hadn't read the comic, it probably had an even harsher impact on you.
yeah, and also obviously the people who saw this happen in the comics, it's our second time dealing with it.
That
So
too,
it's the
yeah.
first time dealing with this situation for a lot of people, and it's,
Right.
understandably extremely traumatizing.
Absolutely. Did you have any other notes or anything?
Um, yeah, I got a bunch of notes. Let's see what there is to talk about. I thought it was interesting that Negan had a female lead enforcer, Arat.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
That was pretty cool. So I mean, say what you will about Negan, but apparently he's, happy to put women in positions of power, which is interesting to
Right.
see.
Yeah, because Karen was saying one of her criticisms of last episode was it seemed like it was all dudes, but now we saw a woman.
Yeah, and when they showed up at the compound at Alexandria, like right off the bat, he was like, "Arat," and she stepped up to take charge of the troops. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
she was his number one there. Basically, it seemed like.
We also saw those women that Carol encountered too. They seemed to
Oh yeah,
have some power.
yeah. I thought it was interesting too. Like, Rick just is straight up with his people. Let me put this to you as clearly as I can. I'm not in charge anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Negan is like Negan is boss. I work for Negan now. So who has the guns? Like.
Yeah, come on. It's hard to see the hero give up, and I don't want to see that long term. I don't want to
Yeah,
see that long
definitely.
term, but I do want to see it now. I wanted to see him give up, and then
Yeah,
he
and
needs to rebuild now, hopefully.
yeah,
Talk about our next sponsor, and that's Fracture. Duncan, what's a fracture?
a fracture is a combination of a frame and a picture. It's a beautiful presentation of your own pictures that you take with your cell phone or with your cameras, things that are, lost in the digital ether. And Fracture will print them on glass in a gorgeous manner. They seem to glow in the light almost. I don't know, to me, it kind of reminds me of fiber optics, the way that
Yeah,
the
yeah,
light kind of seeps in
it's a
through the
nice
glass
look.
and
Yeah,
illuminates it from behind, sort of.
yeah.
And yeah, it's just it takes these awesome pictures that you've had hidden on your phone or your computer that nobody ever gets to see, and it gives you a nice means to display them in your home or your office or wherever you want. It's just they're beautiful. I've got a few of them at this point, and
My favorite one of yours is you and Erica done up by what's that guy's name?
Tate
Tate
Steinsick.
Steinsick from Face Off
Yeah, when we were
as
shooting the Walking Dead
zombies.
experience.
Where did you put that up?
I haven't hung it up yet. I wanted to hang it up like out in the main living room, but
Yeah.
Erica thinks it's too gruesome.
I
It
could
might
see
scare
that.
people.
Yeah, it's a great way to memorialize your beautiful photos, your memories. Melissa got one of her cute dog that passed away and that she loved,
Yeah.
and mostly I get ones of Nico. He's
hmm
pretty photogenic. And
I really feel like there's something special about
yeah,
fractures, though. Like they're super cool.
it's like you're manifesting something digital in the real world. And I have my podcast art done, which has only been digital, and now it's a little object, and I sometimes just take it off the wall and like turn it over in my hand, and it's pretty neat. I should do my other podcast. I haven't done Game of Microphones or Evil Dead Cast. So
Oh wow, yeah, that'd be cool.
you guys, it's super easy. You just upload your photo, choose a size, and then they send it to you, and it's really nice packaging and everything and ready to hang up. So you can get yours by going to fractureme.com/podcast and select the Walking Dead cast to let them know you heard about them from us. And if it's your first order, you get 10% off by doing that.
Yeah, and they have a satisfaction guarantee.
Yeah,
Also,
that's right.
like
Happiness
you will
guarantee.
be happy with your picture by the time you're done dealing with them. Like period.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Again, that's fractureme.com/podcast. Thanks, as always, to Fracture.
Thanks, Fracture.
Obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens.
The people it kills get up and kill.
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is a Walking Deadcast news update.
All right, it's the news. Just a couple things this week. So Dave Chappelle, one of my favorites. I love the Chappelle Show
Dude.
back in the day.
Oh my God. You don't even know, man. I am like the biggest Dave Chappelle fan
I
on
love
the
that
planet.
guy. I was so bummed when he left the Chappelle Show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I actually got a chance to meet him after he came back from Africa, and I saw him perform live, and he explained his whole like reason for leaving and fleeing the country and everything. It was amazing. But
That
yeah,
is
go ahead.
super
Go ahead.
cool. I love it.
Yeah, it was my birthday when I got to meet him too. I was like super pumped.
That's I'm totally jealous. I want to go see him sometime. But anyway, why are we talking about him? Well, he did a skit on Saturday Night Live. Which, did you see it?
Yes.
It's a combination of the whole Negan with the lineup of characters, except the characters are all his characters from the Chappelle Show.
It's a Walking Dead Chappelle Show mashup with
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle as Negan,
It's so
Dave
cool.
Chappelle as Tyrone Biggums, Dave Chappelle as one of the guys from the Player Haters Ball. It had Ashy Larry in there also.
The only thing, I was so waiting for Rick James to pop up, but I know that
Oh,
he's probably
my
sick
God.
of that one, right? He's like, I'm not doing Rick James, bitch.
Yeah, I've heard him talking about like being at Disney World with his family and people coming up to him like, oh, Rick James, bitch, Rick
Yeah,
James, bitch. He's
right.
like, mind not calling me a bitch in front of my kids.
So you guys got to check that out. I posted it on our facebook.com/deadcast, or you can just search for it on YouTube.
Yeah, and if you love Dave Chappelle or you just need some levity, and
Yeah.
like if Negan made you sick and traumatized you, maybe this will make you feel a little bit better about it because
I don't-
it makes the whole thing hilarious
Yeah.
in a great way. And I didn't know he did it. I knew that he was going to be hosting Saturday Night Live, but it just kind of popped up on my phone. I missed watching the episode. Stupidly, I'm going to have to watch the whole thing, but I was incredibly excited to see this. It's fantastic.
Next, Denai Guerrera has a role in the upcoming Marvel movie Black Panther. She plays Okoye, a protector of the Black Panther. I think he has a bunch of wives or something. I'm not sure, but he's the fictional African nation. King of fictional African nation Wakanda. And the movie's directed by Ryan Coogler, who I think he's maybe in his early 30s, or he might even still be in his 20s. But he directed the Rocky sequel Creed, which was actually pretty good.
I have to check it out.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, and
I liked Rocky 5 a lot, like Rocky Balboa, that one that was actually really good. So I have hope for Creed.
I think you're gonna like it. So he never even saw The Walking Dead. He saw Denai Guerrera in an independent film called Mother of George. That's how he picked her out. But she's a badass in this too, and it's as for how Michonne and Okoye will stack up to one another. Denai Guerrera said, quote, "I'm training right now for Black Panther, and yes, there's a lot of ways that they're extremely different. I'm learning such great, awesome new things. There's a lot of ways that, yes, one helps the other. There are things about using combat that help each other, but she's a whole nother thing." So anyway, I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up and remind you guys that that's coming up. I'm not even sure when that comes out. I think it's next year.
Sweet.
Cool. And did you see Doctor Strange?
No, I want to. It looks pretty crazy.
Good. It's a trip, man. I love it.
Yeah, it looks like a total trip.
Yeah, I love it. So next, Kirkman said he knows exactly how the comic will end. He didn't always used to say that, but I think he figured it out. But he said he hasn't told anyone at AMC, and that Scott Gimple, the showrunner, is a huge fan of the comics and doesn't want to know. In fact,
that's awesome.
He said that Gimple doesn't even want to get plot summaries of upcoming issues. Like, I just want to read it like everybody else.
Yeah, it's like me. I hate spoilers.
Yeah, you want to experience it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was.
I don't even watch trailers for Game of Thrones or anything.
I used to not do that. I guess I feel like a little tease is okay, but actually, you're not gonna like this next item then. Maybe you should stop listening for like 30 seconds.
Okay,
go ahead. So this next one this is a little bit spoilery, you guys. So if you don't want to hear it, it's about a character. So you should just move on to the next section. But Corey Hawkins, who plays Heath, is starring in 24 Legacy, which is a 24 spinoff. That's next year. He's the main character. So I kind of think that might spell some bad news for Heath, but it's just speculation. Maybe they can fit it all in. I don't know. Duncan!
All right, I'm back. Perfect timing.
Okay. All right, that's it for the news. Now it's time for listener moans, groans, and grunts.
Brains. All right. Teresa Abella Grauberg says, "I honestly couldn't wait for this episode to be over. I found myself counting the minutes down, all of the unnecessary 90 of them. It was horrifying and uncomfortable to watch. Please let this not be how the entire season is going to be." Smiley face. Loved the first 3 episodes this season, but for some reason, this one was just too hard to watch and enjoy. I'm sorry, Teresa.
That's an anxious face, not a smiley face.
Oh, all right. Yeah, anxious face. I thought it was like a smiley to go with the love the first 3 episodes, but yeah, it's definitely flat-mouthed, anxious face.
Yeah, I'm hoping, Teresa, that this is a one-of-a-kind, just to show Negan, show Alexandria who's boss, and that this is not going to be the whole season. And then looking back, it'll be like, oh, good. Look how much they overcame. But I don't blame you. I mean, I also agree that it didn't need to be 90 minutes. Paula Hopper says, "Mercy for the lost, vengeance for the plunderers. Rick will slide his dick down Negan's throat and will be thanked for it."
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm hoping for.
We'll see.
Lara Willie Swink says, "Why was this a 90-minute episode? Oh, yes, to throw in the 20 minutes of commercial advertising. I'm sorry, I love you, The Walking Dead, but Negan's incessant monologuing and our team's oppressive silence and bowed-head side glances are going to grow old quickly."
I think this is a whole different show if you watch it on iTunes and don't watch the commercials.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just like I'll set it to record. Obviously, it's a series recording I already have set up, but I'll let the first 10, 15 minutes play, and then I'll start watching it and just fast forward through the commercials.
Yeah, I would do that if I was using TiVo or whatever.
Mm.
Ashley Renfro says, wonderful so far. So refreshing to be back with everyone after such a long freaking wait. I actually laughed at 2 of Negan's lines. Can't remember what they were now, of course, but they were funny. There were so many.
Oh, yeah. Keith S. Hickman Jr. says, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is amazing. His portrayal of Negan is so great, I truly hate him. The way he knows he is in control and there's nothing Rick can do. You feel Rick's frustration, anger, and helplessness. I say it again, amazing character. Not even the governor was this intense.
No way. Kristen
levels.
McWegglebergino says, after sitting through that 90 minutes of awful, I realized this was the, quote, day of reckoning for the people of Alexandria that weren't in the woods. Characters like Spencer seem to not understand what Negan really is. Fucking Spencer. I almost think he should have made Spencer watch Olivia get Lucille just to get the point across to that little shit hoarder. Excuse the language, but Spencer has to go, please. That one took a turn to the dark, but I kind of like it, Kristen.
Yeah, I think I have some ideas about what's going to go down with Spencer, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome. And also, do you know how to do you have confirmation on the pronunciation of Kristen's last name?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's an awesome name.
She told me, yeah.
Sweet. All right. B Knight says, boy, oh boy, I can finally let my breath out. That butter-thick tension. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is honestly so great as Negan. I find myself smirking at the TV whenever he's on. I hate that I do that.
I think he would love to hear that.
Yeah, definitely.
I laugh, but I don't want to laugh. Aubrey Churchwood says, I'm wondering if they threatened Daryl prior to coming to Alexandria, which is why he didn't, quote, plead his case, or perhaps he thinks pleading to stay in Alexandria would be submitting to Negan somehow.
I think that pleading
know.
to stay in Alexandria would be the opposite of submitting to Negan. And by not pleading, he's showing that Negan is dominant and he's submissive.
Dominated him. Yeah. It's hard to know, though. I hopefully there's more to come on what the hell's going on with him.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, totally. Christina Sowers says, as a comic book reader, amazing. They did such a good job of translation to the show. Agreed.
Yep.
Amazing.
Rick Montalvan says, finally, Rosita's getting a story, but I fear my favorite Latina is heading down a road she will soon regret.
Yeah, on that note, second time watching the episode, when as soon as she goes to grab that gun out of the wheel well, I was like, oh, God, Rosita's fucked. She's fucked. Like something bad is coming.
You're scared for her for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm more scared for her or more scared of, she was already so distraught by seeing what happened to Abraham that, if it's obvious that she does something, like if she shoots at Negan, I don't know if he'll kill her or kill somebody else close to her, just break her even more. I don't know what would be worse. Right.
Now that you're saying that, I feel like Spencer or Rosita could be a goner.
Yeah. I don't know. Des Combs said, solid episode. Didn't really need to be 90 minutes. It was nice that they showed us pretty much every Alexandrian. I agree. It was cool to see people like Eric, who we haven't seen in forever. And even Aaron. We haven't seen Aaron this season, really. Right?
Well, he was in the lineup.
Oh, yeah, he was in the lineup.
He hasn't done much,
We haven't really gotten a lot of Aaron for the whole past year, unfortunately. I think he's such a great actor. Ross Marquand just amazing. It'd be good to see him utilized more.
Yeah. There's just a lot of characters, but I agree.
Yeah.
Megan Kleinman says, Michonne better with a katana.
That reminds me of a funny little story. The first time I met Denai Guerrera, it was her second year on the show, and I went up and I was like, hey, it's so awesome to meet you. I was like, oh, you're looking really fluid with the katana this year. It's good job, And she was kind of like, oh, thank you. Wait, are you saying I was no good with the katana last year? And I was like, you're really pretty, bye.
I like it.
Michael Kostka says, brilliant episode. Negan as the Joker. to Rick's Batman is some of the best stuff in the series. I'm only looking forward to more of what's shaping up to be one of the best seasons yet.
Nice.
Agreed.
I agree. Yeah. And Donna says, not watching it. Listening to podcasts, but not watching the show at the moment. I'm loving Karen's take on the show. It's hard for some of us to watch it anymore. Thanks, Karen, for letting those of us who are having a hard time watching something so bleak know it's okay. And I want to answer that, by the way. Karen and I talked, and last episode that with Daryl, she really didn't like that episode, and she was being kind of restrained in her criticism. And so we've been talking about, okay, Karen doesn't like this storyline. How are we going to do this? Is it going to be worthwhile for her if she doesn't like the storyline? Is it going to be any fun? And I wasn't sure which is, but it just kind of hit me. I told her, I was like, dude, just be honest. Just say whatever you really think. Don't hold back. And
totally.
We'll make it fun, and we'll have fun talking about it. And we'll probably have different opinions because I like it. And so that's fine. I mean, I like when we have different opinions. As long as it can be fun for her. And she said, well, I always have fun talking to you. So hopefully, even if she's not into this storyline, she can just have fun on the podcast and not hold back.
Yeah, and Karen, if you're feeling that way, there's bound to be other people out there that feel the same exact way.
Donna.
And hearing you say that, they'll have something to relate to, and they'll know they're not alone. So just be honest about it.
Yeah.
And I think you guys talking about that brings us to our next comment, which makes perfect sense. We have a message from Karen Morvay herself, who says, the best thing about this episode was the iPhone 7 commercial featuring Maya Angelou reading her poem, Human Family.
Which she sent me that on YouTube, and it was a very, very beautiful commercial showing different people from different cultures around the world. And I recommend checking it out, you guys.
Yeah, I skipped through the commercials, but I'll go check that out. It sounds really cool.
Okay, we'll take a little break here and talk about our final sponsor. That is Harry's. Duncan, you use Harry's, right?
I do, and it slices hair off my face like Michonne's katana sliced that zombie in half, right through the dome piece.
Did you hear about it through podcasts?
I think I did. Yeah, it was on Walking Dead cast and on Watching Dead, I believe.
And so, what did you think when you got it? Like, what do you like about it?
They're great. They're super sharp. They last way longer than other blades I've used. I mean, you guys can see my Facebook profile picture. I don't shave all the time, but I shave below my beard line.
That's mostly where I shave too, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't have to change blades for months and months.
I like them because they look cool. They're not gaudy like the razors.
Which one
in the
do you
stores. Have? Well, I have like 4 of them now because they keep sending them to me. But my favorite is just the simple orange one. And I forget the name. So the Truman, I think. And
I have the gold one. It's like Churchill, maybe.
Yeah, I have the silver version of that.
Nice.
But they're nicely designed. They're less expensive than the ones in the stores. Their new models of razors have new features, and big razor companies have this annoying habit of putting out new models and raising their already high prices. But Harry's is keeping their prices the same. So here's the new features. Their 5-blade razors now have a softer flex hinge for a more comfortable glide. They have this trimmer blade for harder to reach places. They have a lubricating strip, which is really sexy. Not really. And then they have this
it's so turned on.
textured handle for more control when like the handle's wet, but it still looks really good. And they're still $2 per blade compared to like $4 or more that you pay at the drugstore. So that's half the price. How do they do that? Not only by selling direct to you guys, but also they own a factory in Germany where they make their blades.
I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're vertically integrated, right? So these guys get the steel, they make these blades themselves, a high quality German steel.
Yeah.
These things like slice, like no joke. And basically doing all that themselves instead of contracting other people and involving middlemen to create the products and everything. They're saving the customer money.
Yeah. And that's why it's an easy recommendation, because it costs less. It's better, higher quality. It's really convenient, and the look is great. It's just like bam, 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 bam. All these points, they're an obviously, like, I think if you don't get this razor over the ones in the store, it's crazy. So they're really confident in the quality of their blades. So they're so confident they'll send you their popular free trial set. It comes with a razor, 5-blade cartridge, and shaving gel. It's free.
Their gel is really cool too.
When you sign up for a shave plan, you get that free. You just pay shipping, and then you get a subscription, which you can set the amount of time intervals to get supplies. Plus, if you guys enter code DEADCAST at checkout, you get a post-shave balm added to your order for free. So that if you go to harrys.com right now and enter DEADCAST at checkout, you can claim your free trial set. That's HARRYS.com and use the code DEADCAST. And thank you to Harry's for your support.
Thanks, Harry's.
Okay, now we're on to emails. This is from Luke Dentler, who says, big fan, just started listening to the show about a week before the premiere on Spotify and listened to all of season 6. Now I'm going through and doing all the premieres and finales. Looking forward to listening every night at work. Thanks, Luke. One thing I wanted to mention was Bobby K had said they all knew it was Glenn and Abe and dropped hints. It made me think and look back. And do you remember what kind of pop or soda the nurse from Alexandria wanted them to get her? Orange Crush, as in I believe it's a reference to Abe.
Oh, man. Damn.
That's crazy,
Oh,
dude.
God.
Food for thought. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, and considering, what happened with Denise, and, as compared to Abraham, you'll know what I'm talking about if you know. Yeah, it's interesting that Denise specifically would drop a hint like that.
Orange Crush.
Yeah.
That's dark.
Wow. All right. Mads Thompson says, in last week's episode, The Cell, did the fat guy have Rick's Python gun? That made me fucking mad. And a face emoji.
I don't know, but
I don't know
somebody
either.
must have it, right? Rick doesn't have it. So
now that you're thinking about it, I'm
did.
like, where is the Python?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
It's got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
Fanny Penny says, hey guys, just wondering, I know no one is safe on The Walking Dead, but do you think Judith will be okay? As a mama, I just don't know if I could handle anything happening to her. Lots of love to you guys. I absolutely think Judith is one of the safe characters. I do.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree.
Especially, I mean, one thing with any of the other characters right now is if the actor decides they don't want to do the show, then that could be a reason for them exiting. But Judith just keeps getting new actors playing her all the time.
Twins. They hire all these sets of twins.
That's one thing that will save her. But I just think that I just think they don't want to get that dark. I think that's a line that they won't cross, and I hope I'm right.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right, and we got a bunch of calls. Here's Carissa from Washington, D.C.
Hey, Jason and Karen. This is Carissa calling for the first time from Washington, D.C., not too far from Alexandria. And just wanted to tell you a little bit about my favorite and not so favorite men from this episode. What the fuck, Gabriel? You are the creepiest dude ever. That's so weird. And what's up with his 2 and 3 word sentences? You're my friend. That changed. What the fuck, Gabriel? Go dig another empty grave. Make yourself useful.
And put yourself in it.
I was a little disappointed with this episode. It felt very heavy-handed. We get it, Negan. You're a dick. You're a bully. You can kill anyone at any time. I don't know if it was 90 minutes or if it was just too much Negan in this episode. It just felt kind of shticky to me. But my favorite was Shane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how I miss Shane. For all of his flaws, I love him so much as a character.
Me
Something
too.
my sister and I vehemently disagree on. But I'm glad it's out there that he is Judith's father. That is awesome, and that resolves a long-standing mystery. But it also brings up, I wonder so often how Shane would be doing in this environment, in Alexandria, meeting the hilltop and the saviors. And I really wonder what kind of interaction there would be between him and Negan. But that's all for now. Those were some of my favorite men from this character. Love your show. And since I'm a first-time caller, here is my walker sound.
Yeah, Carissa explains it all. Killer.
Thanks for calling. Yeah, I love how Shane's always the character that you wonder
Yep.
how he would handle situations in the
Yeah,
show.
every once in a while, I reflect, what if it was Shane that lived and not Rick? And I
Yeah.
just imagine how things would be. And I think it's a really interesting thought exercise to just imagine how his different style of leadership would handle these encounters. So,
Yeah. Or how current Rick would interact with Shane, because Rick's changed several times over the course of the series.
Yeah.
Like,
To put it mildly.
yeah.
Now we're gun control Rick.
Exactly. Now this is not a democracy. I mean, this is sort of like the second phase of this is not a democracy, Rick, only he's not the one in charge right now.
Yeah, how many shades of Rick have we had? We've had Sheriff Rick, we've had Schizophren Rick, we've had Dictator Rick, the Ricktator. Now we've got Gun Control Rick. We had Farmer Rick.
Farmer Rick, and then we had like at one point crazy violent Rick who shoots at anybody without even knowing where they're from.
Yeah.
And
Maniacal.
Now it's just like totally cowed Rick.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all Halloween costumes. Okay. This is Spencer from Philly.
Hey, Jason and Karen. This is Spencer from Philly. Hated this episode.
Oh.
I would give it 2.1. I chose this over Westworld. I can't. I'm getting really tired of the whole one scene per episode thing. Now, I know this isn't Game of Thrones, where you have a King's Landing and Dorne and a Winterfell, where you have to and others where you have to just keep
bouncing back and
jumping
forth
in between, and just such a big world that you need to have multiple story arcs during one episode. But come on, I mean, is it are we really going to be jumping between from scene from story arc to story arc every episode? So we'll only see Carol once more between now and the mid-season finale. I can't take it. Today's episode was 90 minutes of nothing. It really did not need to be as long as it was. The point, we learned a couple of nuggets, and the real big thing was Negan's power play, which could have been a longish scene as opposed to a whole episode. Stop it, please. Just stop it. I'm hoping next week is better, and I'm hoping, I know that this is supposed to be a bigger world, but the way they're telling the story needs to make it a bit smaller than it's been. I was fine up until yesterday. The first 3 episodes I thought were great, but now I think they're jerking us around. That's it. Thanks, guys.
First of all, Spencer, you gun stashing, liquor hoarding bastard. If you send us another message like that, I'll break your jaw and knock your teeth out. Say yes if you understand me. No, I actually agree. Is a really weird structure to this season so far. The first 3 episodes were all sort of bottle episodes. They've all sort of been isolated bottle episodes, just one area covered. And I agree. I think it would be good to jump around a little bit, just give us a little taste of what's going on in multiple places. And now that every place except for, actually, yeah, we haven't even been to the hilltop yet, but hopefully at least after that, once every place has been established and we see what's going on in all these places, hopefully it'll all start meshing together in a more cohesive way.
I mean, I feel like maybe with Spencer, if this episode had just been a normal length episode, that would have gone a long way towards making it better for him.
Yeah, just another 30 minutes you have to wait before seeing your favorite characters again.
Yeah, and look, here's what we had. We had the first episode is the whole the killing of Glenn and Abraham, and I think that had to that's where everybody was, for one thing, so there wouldn't be much jumping around.
That's
the second episode was a palate cleanser, a badly needed, a little whimsy, explore a new land, find out what's happening with Carol and Morgan. It would be weird. The whole one big point of that was to have a tonal break, to have a nice, happy tone. And so you don't want to intercut that with a darker place. That would sort of kill it. So that makes sense. The third one is Daryl with
Dwight.
What do you call their dwelling?
That's a great question.
Anyway,
yeah.
it's with the Saviors. Now, you could say, oh, well, they could have intercut that with this episode because the tone's pretty much the same, but Negan can't be in two places at once, as all-powerful as he is, so that wouldn't have really made sense. Neither could Daryl. That's all linear.
Yeah, good point.
So I feel like with the story that they're telling right now, at least it wouldn't have really worked. I mean, maybe they could show some stuff over at Hilltop, but I don't know. I'm totally on board. I feel like I wish they could have made this a regular size episode, but otherwise, I personally, I mean, I don't mean to say your opinion is not valid. I'm just saying what my opinion is because that's what I tend to do. But personally, I just feel like I'm okay with them jumping around like that.
And this is kind of where the this type of serialized drama sort of suffers in the age of Netflix. Full season drops, the binge watching TV era, where we have to wait a week between the release of every episode. But I feel like people might feel differently about this if they were watching them all sequentially in order.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So who knows? I think it's suffering from the format, making people feel like that.
You have to wait too long to see their favorites.
Yeah.
Okay. But thanks for the call, and I hope you come back
thanks,
again
Spencer.
because I thought it was an intelligent call.
And I won't break your jaw.
And passionate, too. All right, and then we have one more call. That's Greg from Connecticut.
BT, raise up.
Hey, Jason and Karen. This is Greg from Connecticut. Just got done watching Service. So I'm a fan of Negan from reading the comic books. Is he brutal? Yes, all that. But I'm just having a hard time with the fact that, I think that Jeffrey Dean Morgan in that, in the introduction and whatnot, the presentation that that's really what Negan is. But now, even in some of the scenes where he's just kind of having conversation, he's still putting those Shatner-like pauses into every line. And I'm kind of like with Ezekiel, you had the very kingly, very, very royal delivery. But Negan, when you saw Ezekiel break from that, he was just a guy talking. And I'm kind of looking forward to hearing that from Jeffrey Dean Morgan. But I was like, man, when is it going to, I saw a little bit when he was talking to Rick, but it just seems like every word that he says or every line that he says is a presentation. But, other than that, I enjoyed the episode. It was almost like the comic coming to life, and that was fantastic. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Thanks, Greg.
I actually wonder if that might be a little bit of a clue into Negan's character. Maybe he's got a point. Maybe every line that Negan says is a presentation right now, and we'll get to see a side of him where he's not doing that shtick.
I was just thinking the same thing. I really think that that's what's going to happen because I feel like in the comics, at some points, it's not always like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but I feel like we are going to see the down to earth sort of side of Negan, where he's just it's less of a show. Once you get to know him, he's just he's really straight up, I feel like, and we'll get to see that hopefully sooner than later, because it'll be tiring if he continues on the same way, I think.
Yeah, just based on listener feedback. I mean, a lot of people are saying, I fucking love Negan, but there's plenty of people who are just tired of him. So hopefully within the next couple of Negan episodes, we'll see something different.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that is it for Listener Moans, Groans, and Grunts. Thank you, guys. Now it's time for Comic Talk with Mr. Blog and Gracie Lou. Take it away, guys.
Hello, Walking Dead cast listeners. It is I, Mr. Blog, again, joined by Grace for another segment of Comic Talk. And wow, we have quite a bit of talk about in this one, don't we?
It's certainly very similar.
It really
Though how
is.
they stretched this little bit into a 90-minute episode, I do not know.
I know. I think it kind of covers maybe 2 issues of the comic. Maybe it's maybe just be 1, but they certainly did draw it out. But what did you? Man, I think you just told us what you think about this. Probably all we need to say on it. Where do we begin? Just right off at the beginning, Negan showing up at the gate.
Little pig, let me in.
Same thing. Boom.
Same thing, yeah.
Negan takes out a zombie outside. Boom. Same thing.
Yeah, I mean the dialogue, the whole thing with Spencer not knowing who, or saying he doesn't know who Negan is and all that,
Yeah.
and then Negan's, comment back, you better be fucking joking, Negan, Lucille, all that,
Yep.
very, very much the same. Pulled it right out of here, right out of the comic.
And the same thing was, who is this asshole? Yeah, all the fuckings are, of course, removed. We talked about that in the past, so no need to harp on that. But it really, his whole introduction to Alexandria was pretty much the exact same thing. Him handing Lucille to Rick.
Yes.
Same thing. And, of course, even the way at the very end, he kind of feigns like he forgets it to get it back from Rick. I did enjoy how much time was spent on Rick, his hand various times getting all white knuckled on Lucille. Not something you
taking him out.
Yeah, not something you can necessarily get across in the comics. So that was a nice little addition. I thought that was help boost it up a little bit, kind of a little MSG for the story. Did enjoy that. We also have a number of other things that were straight out of the book. Carl being very confrontational in the way that went down with Negan. Now, it was extra cute in the book because Carl's still about 8 or 9 years old.
Mm-hmm. Well, what they did is they kind of blended his role and Denise's role into one. And Carl took both roles, pretty much.
So, exactly that. Also in the book, something I didn't realize until I just started flipping through right before we were talking, they do, in fact, take the mattresses from Alexandria. Mm-hmm. That was something that I had forgotten about. So that is similar as well. We get to Lucille. I'm still flipping through. And of course, at the end, when Negan leans forward to Rick, after Rick says thank you, with the whole, just slid my dick down your throat comment.
Mm-hmm.
I did not think they were actually going to go there.
Yeah. They did, didn't they? And my 11-year-old was doing her homework in the other room when I was watching.
No.
And she's like, oh, bad language or whatever. And then this part came on. I'm like, right at a certain spot. I was like, she doesn't need to hear that.
Well, you knew it was coming. So good. Bully on you for that. So, and then, of course, the aftermath. So this is where I think we get into a few differences, of course. I mean, one of the other big differences, they don't take all their weapons in the comic. They leave that.
Yeah, so I'm wondering how that's going to play out. That's what I was thinking out during the whole episode. I was like, they're taking all their weapons. How interesting. So.
Well, another little theory that I've heard is that the empty grave that's supposed to be for Maggie is actually filled with all the stuff they got from the Saviors.
Ooh, that's a good theory.
So that's a kind of a groovy theory. So that's possible right there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're going to do. So, but one other thing that they got straight out of the comic is Negan not taking any of their food. Now, Negan tells Rick this right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
makes the same comment about Olivia.
Makes the same comment about Olivia, exactly. We do have an email shortly, or a message somebody, Jason, forwarded to us that asks a question that's super spoilery in terms of where the comic is now. So we're going to save that until the very end, which is almost there, folks. One last little thing. Carl, of course, didn't go off. So Carl, that's the other difference. He's still in Alexandria, whereas in the book, he takes off.
As far as we know. I don't quite remember.
I think we saw him at the very end, and of course, the relationship with Michonne and Rick, I wonder if that's going to play out in the same way. So the gun thing changed, I think, quite a few things. We have a lot more characters involved in this that we didn't necessarily have in the comic. We give Rosita a bit of a storyline with this, and Dwight and Daryl, of course. So there were a lot of things going on in the scene in the TV show that isn't necessarily conveyed in the comic book, although Heath has a bit of a bigger role in the comic. So maybe he's more of a stand-in for Rosita. I don't know. But again, with the guns, that changes everything a little bit as well.
Certainly.
So I kind of like it when they really do stay as faithful as they just did with this little segment in particular, yet manage to change more than enough things to really tweak how it can all play out down the road.
Yeah, totally. I think they did a good job with it.
And I think the reason why he allowed them to have all the weapons in the book was because they needed to collect for him. I think somewhere along here.
the reason that Negan allowed them to keep some guns. Yes.
In the comics. So, a little bit of a difference there as well. Also, before we move on to that last little email, last week I was very confused as to whether or not there was a section in the comic that had them saying that they are Negan. And yes, indeed, a wonderful listener by the handle of, somewhere here, Shane, we'll just go by Shane, it's not quite his handle, but showed me the comic page where that's from, and I did find it. It's at the very beginning of volume 17, Something to Fear, where they do say we are Negan. So let's go ahead and move now to the comment that Jason forwarded to us. If you're moving on, so you don't want to hear what's happening now in the present, it's just a small little bit, but thank you very much for listening. But for now, Josh Shavanovich, is that how you pronounce it? Did I finally get it slightly right? You're usually better than I am. JDM is perfect as Negan, the way he chuckles to himself and how horrible he is comes across so unsettling. It's terrific. So a question for Mr. B and Grace. Comic Talk. But why do you think they're doing it in a different direction with Rick's intentions in the show versus the book? I was expecting to see the scene where he confesses to Andrea and Michonne that he's just playing along with the Saviors. And the turn when he admitted that this is the only foreseeable way forward caught me off guard. I'm guessing Morgan and Carol's connection to the kingdom will serve as his catalyst for Rick to change his thinking, but I'm looking forward to see how it plays out. Also, did you guys think that Eugene was already trying to fix the CB radio at the beginning of the episode? Okay, so, and that comes from Facebook. Thank you very much, Josh. First of all, the Eugene CB radio. Yes, dude, that is exactly what I thought. When I saw him monkeying with that, I'm like, oh, is that the CB already? It seems so quick. So, how about you?
Yeah, for me, I thought it was like a little nod to the comic. We'll see. If...
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so why did Rick not... I think it is there. I think his intentions are different here, and I think we really did see a much more defeated, broken Rick than we necessarily see in the comic. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth on whether, maybe we will see that in the future, but... I don't know, Negan did really seem to break Rick. He went through so much more in the TV show than he did in the comic. So, yeah, maybe you're right, Josh.
Yeah, we will find out. And yeah, maybe, Morgan and Carol. I think there are a lot of different influences in this one. I mean, Daryl, he's a captive. So, previously they didn't have any captives at the sanctuaries, so they can maybe think a little more bloodthirstily, if that is a word.
True.
Of course, then Carl's going to be over there, so that changes everything. But also, maybe we just haven't seen it yet in the show because he does not admit to Andrea what he's going to do. Everybody is actually pissed at him, and Andrea is about ready to leave him.
Yeah, and that's the only reason he tells him, because she's moving her things out of the house. And
I can totally foresee Michonne doing something like that in the show, and then him coming clean and go, no, we're going to find a way, something. So... I don't know. Then he'll say, we buried all the guns. We're going after, whatever he's going to do. I don't know. Anything else you want to bring up about this episode and this portion of the comic?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
Hopefully see you next week. Take care, everyone.
All right. Thank you to Mr. Blog and Gracie Lou. Now it's time for...
Next week on The Walking Dead.
Next week on The Walking Dead, it's Season 7, Episode 5, Go-Getters. Maggie and Sasha recover from their grief at the hilltop. Meanwhile, Carl and Enid journey to the community as Simon and the Saviors arrive to get their tribute. Yeah, and normally I don't watch the previews for The Walking Dead, but I made a special exception this time because I love Jason and I'm honored to be here.
Thanks for the sacrifice.
You're welcome. So we got to see some pretty interesting stuff on the previews. First of all, right off the bat, Maggie is alive and she's looking healthier. And she would be at the hilltop, correct? That's where she was headed to go to the doctor?
I believe
so. So, yeah, definitely. So we're at the hilltop. Gregory's there, and he says, Maggie said her people could take care of the Saviors. So far, all they've done is put us at risk. So the failure of Rick's plan is backfiring in terms of the Hilltop being trusting of their group and having faith in what's going on over there. So promptly in the previews, we see Negan's men, the Saviors, show up at the Hilltop, and their handlebar mustache having leader kind of guy under Negan says right off the bat, "We need to talk," and takes Gregory and sort of drags him aside in his mansion and pulls him off into one of the side rooms. And we don't see what happens from there, but it looks like tensions are rising at the Hilltop and something is going down.
That makes me feel stressed out hearing all that.
Yeah, I was stressed out watching it.
I'm excited to see Jesus again.
Yeah, Jesus exists. That's in my notes. Also, we know Jesus exists based on next week's preview. We see him. So that's cool. I'm super excited to see Jesus again.
Sounds kind of big, like a big deal.
Yeah, I love Jesus and loves us as well. So oh man, we haven't seen nearly enough of Jesus and what he's capable of.
I know.
Yet.
That's what I'm
TV
saying.
Show.
Yeah, more. And what's the guy's name? Tom Paine. He's
Tom Paine.
Perfect.
Yeah, and damn, his eyes
good.
are intense, man. Just
you got to meet him sometime. You'd love him. He's super high energy and just like,
oh yeah,
he's got this piercing gaze and kind of a impish smile. He's really good.
They seem normal at first glance, but the shadows are cursed and the expansive woods surrounding town are forbidden. They call it the Void, and nobody comes back alive.
You're headed straight for the Void!
Milton lives suspended in time, trapped by a darkness that seems to be creeping closer and closer.
It's safe,